Today we're talking about anger. We're talking about the type of anger that makes you want to throttle someone. Is anger ever justified? Today we're looking at anger from the point of view of A Course in Miracles. I love A Course in Miracles. There are many ways to God, and A Course in Miracles is just one of them. But the Course in Miracles does state that it is one of the fastest ways to return to the knowledge and realization of the presence of God in you and the return to salvation. I've been studying the Course in Miracles for 30 years. I've been a student and now a teacher of A Course in Miracles, and it's totally transformed my life in every way that you can possibly imagine. And the Course in Miracles teaches us that anger is never justified because anger is all about the denial of peace. Anger proclaims that guilt is real, and guilt is something that the ego absolutely loves. We took the ego on when we came to this life to keep us separated from each other, to keep us believing in the separation that we're better, superior, or inferior to someone else, that they are bodies and we are bodies, and that's all there is. So anger is the ego's favorite weapon to keep us separated, to keep us judging each other, to keep us sad, to keep us locked in a joyless world. The ego keeps us all day long focusing on the past and focusing on the future, focusing on imagined wrongs, focusing on guilt we feel about things we've done in the past, focusing on anger about what could happen in the future. These are all illusions, and the ego loves keeping us focused on sin because then we're not living the miracle, the joy and bliss that can only be found in the present. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, make sure and give this video a like, and while you're at it, subscribe for more videos like this one. Anger is a statement of war, and war again is the ego's playground. The ego loves to keep us upset over some of the dumbest and smallest things. I know all of us have been there. When we live with someone else, our partner, husband or wife, or children, if we look at the things that make us angry, they can be so dumb. Recently, my partner Art, he was angry with me because I wanted to start getting ready for bed about 9:15. Usually takes me about half an hour, but he wanted me to stay up with him, and it was very confusing. And for a few minutes there, the ego started jabbing me, and I felt anger starting to rise up in me, and then I went, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. I know he loves me. He's angry over something totally irrational. So instead, I went and talked to him about it, and I said, what is the deal with this? The fact is, I need more sleep than you do. I'm a big baby. I need about 8.5 hours sleep a night. I always have, even when I was younger, and Art only needs about 7. So I said, you're upset with me over what is. There's nothing I can do about that. And he goes, oh, okay. And then I found out that he was also worried about that I've been upset with him before because I'd like for him to come and cuddle with me. And then I went, okay, he's mad at me because he's protecting himself from me getting mad at him. All these things are so very dumb when you look at them, but the ego's playground, it's what the ego loves to do to us. If you really want to understand how the ego terrorizes us, look at my childhood trauma video, and you'll understand how people can get mired in issues like I had when I was a child, when my father would spank me pretty much every day. Some people focus on that over and over, remembering in their mind, thinking of their father, thinking of their mother, blaming their mother for not stopping it. That again is the ego's playground. A Course in Miracles has a section on psychotherapy. It's sort of an addendum when it talks about the purpose of psychotherapy. Excellent for the patient as well as the therapist. And true psychotherapy teaches the patient that anger does not bring him anything constructive. Many people believe that by getting angry with someone else, they're actually protecting themselves. But instead, they are focused on judgment and attack. They're looking at something often that didn't even really happen. It's all in their head. The issue is all in their mind. And a lot of times it's because they're comparing it to something else in their past or about a potential negative future outcome. Psychotherapy truly should be a holy encounter where people come together to bless each other. And Eventually, that will be true for everyone on the earth. For why else would we be here but to learn? As patients, we're in that great learning ground to learn again who we really are, to return to love. The Course in Miracles tells us to look out for your bitterness. If you hold back your anger because you're better than someone else, you hold in your bitterness because you're still judging them, but you are better than them, so you're not going to retaliate in anger. Instead, the Course teaches us that we need to realize that this is all a dream. It's all a dream about the past and the future. Very few of us are really focused and living in the present, and we are believing we're living in these bodies that we've projected out there. Instead, we need to learn a type of forgiveness that what we thought happened didn't actually happen, because we are actually eternal spirits with God, and this is all a dream existence. The Course in Miracles tells us, all forms forgiveness takes that do not lead away from anger, condemnation, and comparisons of every kind are death. For that is what their purpose have set. Be not deceived by them, but lay them by as worthless in their tragic offerings. You do not want to stay in slavery. You do not want to be afraid of God. You want to see the sunlight and the glow of heaven shining on the face of earth, redeemed from sin, and in the love of God. From here is prayer released along with you. Your wings are free, and prayer will lift you up and bring you home where God would have you be. Song of Prayer 2.2.6. So the Song of Prayer is an addendum to the Course in Miracles, again, that Jesus dictated through the Course's scribe, a professor of medical psychology at Columbia University. Lesson 347 says, anger must come from judgment, and judgment is the weapon I use against myself to block miracles. If we use our perception to justify our anger, the result is malice. We see a world of evil, destruction, malice, full of sin, envy, and despair. All this we must learn to forgive, not because it's real, but because it's actually untrue. Anger won't occur unless you believe you've been attacked and you're attacking in return. The ego teaches us that a brother is worthy of attack rather than love. This is a false premises, as we all know. Assault can ultimately be made on the body. We know the body can be hurt and the body can actually be killed. But remember, we're not actually in the body, we're projecting these bodies. So when we blame someone for attacking us, when we blame someone for hurting our body, we are living in a dream. We are again buying into the ego that wants to keep us trapped in this dream of anger, this dream of guilt, this dream of sin and sorrow. The ego uses this perception of the bodies, of judgment, of fear, to lock you and your brother in, to destroy your perception of both you and your brother, to destroy your world, to destroy your life. The great thing is, remember, we have the Holy Spirit within us, guiding us at all times. And the Holy Spirit perceives us, perceives you as what you really are, perceives you as perfect. You are a perfect spirit made in God's image. Love is your true identity. And when you realize that, when you accept that, you strengthen that belief in you as well as others. It raises people up. It draws people to you. They feel it. They feel that love. To perceive yourself this way is the only way that you can find happiness in this world, because you're not really of this world. You are of the heavenly realms with God, and here for a very short time in this body. So don't be afraid of the ego. You made the ego. How can you be afraid of something you made? It will keep coming at you. That's its job. That's what we made it for. But just realize that you can dispel it. You can refuse to do what it's been taught to do, and you can laugh at the ego. You can laugh at its antics. And as you do that every day, just laugh every time it jabs you and tries you to see judgment somewhere else, to have you try to see evil and guilt somewhere. Just laugh it off, and you'll find that the day becomes brighter and sunnier and happier. Anytime you perceive the ego is coming at you, anytime you slip and feel those judgments occurring, or you feel the anger rising, give it to the Holy Spirit. That's why the Holy Spirit is here, to cleanse them, to take that from you, and to return to you the memory of who you are and who your brothers and sisters are. When you do this, it helps the ego's jabs, the ego's thoughts dispel from you and everyone else's minds. You are very powerful. And remember, we're all connected. So when you realize that, when you're lifted up, it affects the sonship as a whole. The Course in Miracles tells us, every loving thought is true. Everything else is an appeal for healing and help, regardless of the form it takes. Can anyone be justified in responding with anger to a brother's plea for help? No response can be appropriate except the willingness to give it to him. For this and only this is what he is asking for. Offer him anything else, and you are assuming the right to attack his reality by interpreting it as you see fit. Text 12.1.3. How can we turn this dream nightmare that the ego brings us into a dream of a happy, joyous world? It's rather easy. Your past was made in anger in many ways. Your past in many ways was made from attack. You use the past to attack the present, to attack yourself in the present. You won't see the freedom and the joy that the present holds until you drop the anger and guilt, and then you can see the world as that joyous, lovely, perfect place that is bringing you the lessons you need to learn every moment of the day and return you to the realization heaven is here now. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the ego, how it's affected your life, and how you're stepping beyond it into joy.